All right, we are live. Hello, fight fans. We are coming to you very late from our regular scheduled broadcast. Um, we had a couple of emergencies go on, and everything's all good. Everyone's all safe and healthy. But we are lucky that Dustin and I could actually get on and do a show tonight. So I am coming to you from Myrtle Beach from a hotel room. So Dustin, if I cut in and out, just keep talking. Don't worry about it. It's just because I got terrible hotel Wi-Fi. Um, but we are
Right.
here and talking. We're going to be talking about UFC Vegas 44. We got tons of headlines, but we're going to start as always with our plugs. Please, guys, follow me at AlecTD It's my personal account. Some wild, off the wall shit about a lot of Sixers things. I've been throwing up some trade ideas. Got to go get Buddy Healed. I'm all in on Buddy Healed. Let's go get Buddy Healed. Let's. Anyway, don't need to talk about basketball. But I please at me too because I love talking and getting in disagreements about sports. It's what me and Dustin love. If you were part of our chats, you would see that we are constantly yelling at each other. Not constantly, but on a regular basis, yelling at each other. But all in love. And then also, guys, follow Fights Unwrapped. If you're watching this and you're not following us, I don't know what the fuck you're doing because we have, in my very biased, unbiased opinion, the best fight content, the best fight breakdowns out there. Um, and I don't know if you're watching us and you're not following. I don't know why you would be watching us. And then also, as always, you can follow Dustin at No Censor Sports. Give him a like too. He is. I'm trying to figure out the opposite over there. And also follow Fights on. Unwrap Sports Network. Um, it's what brings us all together. It's amazing, amazing sports network. We got stuff from all over the country, technically all over the world. I mean, we got guys in Australia, we got Canada, we got, if you need some Bulls content, we got people in Chicago. If you need some New York Knicks content, we got people in New York, we got people in Philly, we got people in Florida, all over the place. It's really, really cool. Very unique in that way. So please follow Unwrap Sports Network, and subscribe to their YouTube channel, Unwrap Sports Network. Um, all right, now moving right along, we're going to talk about our sponsors, and I'm going to talk really, really fast because we have so much to cover tonight. Guys, please check out rxhemp.com. If you're like me and you're old, but you still want to hold on hope that you can, get those gains in the gym, you might want to look at rxhemp.com and use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. Guys, the stuff is phenomenal. I ordered it. I will keep reordering it. It helps me. I have so much fucking back problems. It's fantastic. Again, guys, that's rxhemp.com. Use rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your entire order. It's a fucking awesome deal. And then also, bettors out there, I'm not one of you, but please visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code USN100 to get 100% sign up bonus. That's right, 100% sign up bonus. This fight card is gonna be nuts. I might bet on this card, Dustin. This card's gonna be nuts. It is probably in my opinion, one of the best Vegas cards ever. It's just going to be insane. So visit mybookie.ag and use promo code USN100 for 100% sign up bonus. All right. Like I said, we got so much to talk about today, Dustin. I'm going to get kind of the bullshit stuff that we need to talk about, but I don't really care about all that much out of the way first before we get into some of the bigger, more fun headlines. So let's talk about this first. Dana White tests positive for COVID. I listen. Everyone's talking about this. That's why we're bringing it up. It's not really a big deal. It's not as big a deal. What's a big deal is that he is telling people to listen to Joe Rogan instead of medical professionals. What are your thoughts about this, Dustin? Because I want to make this quick. we probably agree on this, but what are your thoughts about this, Dustin?
I'm not shocked he got sick. I mean, not with COVID, with anything. I mean, he travels a lot, and he's in contact with a lot of people. Shit happens. I mean, COVID, the flu. I don't give a shit what it is. The common cold. Not he's gonna follow his own protocols. He's gonna have to kind of isolate for a second. Maybe that means not show up for an event. No big deal. December 11th. Hopefully he'll be there. Not that we care anyway, because it's not like he's fighting. So therefore, I'm not really big on this. Now the Joe Rogan bullshit. Joe Rogan doesn't know shit when it comes to medical things, but he claims to. Maybe. I mean, Joe Rogan's a smart guy, but he's not a medical doctor. So no, I wouldn't exactly listen to Joe Rogan. I mean, if we're on that subject, to be honest.
Yeah, my biggest thing is it sucks. It sounds like he got pretty fucking sick. Who knows with Dana, because he's always over exaggerating things. I heard early reports that his whole family got it too, and all of them got sick. Which, if that's the case, that sucks too. I feel bad for them. But yeah, guys, I'm here to tell you, please don't listen to Joe Rogan. Dana got lucky that it worked. He probably wasn't that symptomatic. He probably didn't have crazy things like he needed to go to the hospital. He probably just tested positive. Please don't listen to Joe Rogan. He's not a medical professional. We love him as an announcer and wish that me personally, I wish that he was announcing more fights like he used to, because I miss him. He is way better than DC in the booth. But I would urge you, please do not listen to him. He is a nut job. Quite literally, he is using more drugs than he needs to. And doesn't know what he's talking about half of the time. He probably doesn't even remember talking about COVID, to be honest with you. So please don't listen to Joe Rogan. Listen to your medical professionals. If you test positive, isolate your fucking self for 14 days. Follow the restrictions and the guidelines. I think that's all we got on the topic, right, Dustin? Who gives a shit? All right, we're moving on. I wouldn't say this is a boring subject, but it can be a quick one. So we're going to move on. The Blachowicz versus Rocket was announced. They're going to be headlining a Vegas card in March. No exact date set yet, but the paperwork is signed. It is done. Both of these guys are ready to go and ready to fight. For me, a little bit of a weird announcement. I'll get into it. I'm going to let Dustin go first on this one. It's definitely strange for me, though. How do you feel, Dustin?
I'm all for it. I mean, it's whatever. Blackwood, he got, Jan kind of got beat up. The Glover takes care of got him, but it is what it is. I mean, Rakic is on his way up, and these are fights he has to win. So let's do it. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion. I mean, it's not like I'm so against it. It's not like I'm like dying to see it, but I'm actually kind of excited to see Rakic come up and face the top guys. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's not like I'm dying or I'm on the edge of my seat to see it happen. But I think this fight's going to be pretty good, if you ask me.
Yeah, it for sure will be a really good fight. There's no doubt in my mind. These guys are going to throw at each other. It's going to be fucking crazy. I mean, these are two guys probably I'm just going to come out and say it, probably the most powerful guys in the division going at each other. So that's going to be fucking fun. Because these guys, both of them could step up.
Rakic is probably the future of the division when it comes to age. So, I mean, this is what he's got to capitalize while he's top. So,
it's a great fight for Rakic. There's no doubt in my mind. It's a great fight for him. I'm happy and sad because I did want Jan to get a rematch if he lost. I feel like he deserves that. But I also want to see Jiri jump up because I think he's the future of the division. I think this is Jiri. We're watching a guy that's so good technically and so well-rounded that this is a guy that could dominate the division for a long, long time. So that's why he's getting his title shot right away. Also, he's the only marketable guy in the fucking division, Dustin. He is crazy. He is out there. He calls out anybody, and he fights anyone. He doesn't give a fuck. So I'm excited that means that he's going to get his title shot. This fight is going to be fun to watch. It's not going to sell a lot. It's not going to headline. I mean, it's headlining a Vegas card for a reason. Two of the top contenders should be on pay-per-view, in my opinion. But that just tells you the state of the light heavyweight division.
To be honest, I've told you my opinion about the light heavyweight division. I don't just watch the UFC. I love to watch PFL. If I can get Bellator, I will. I'll catch them on YouTube. I don't have Showtime, so I don't get to see the cards live. But I've watched one. I've watched every major non-regional promotion when it comes to light heavyweights, and that division is not what it used to be. I'm talking across the UFC, PFL, ONE, Bellator, the big four organizations. Every single light heavyweight division is either old or it's just way less athletic than it used to be. Especially when John Jones came in, it's just the light heavyweights we had to show were insane. All those guys were really athletic, really strong, and they were killers. And this division, it's not. I would say it's just the UFC, but it's not. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Bellator came out and said that he thinks that they think they have the best light heavyweight in the entire world. That's not saying much right now, and we've talked about this at length, Dustin. And no, they don't. Yuri's the best light heavyweight in the entire world right now. The guy's a fucking monster. But we've talked about this at length. It's because they're either stepping up or they're going down. The light heavyweight division, when you really look back at it, it was strange that it was so good for so long, because it is a middleweight. Like, it's a how do I want to phrase this? It's like a in-between division. Those guys who are at light heavyweight could jump up, they could go down, and you can tell by looking at the certain ones which ones they could. Like, Jan could go up. Jan could go up to heavyweight. This guy's a big motherfucker. There are lots of guys that could. Santos could. It's so, like, I think that's what's happening. I think the light heavyweight division is never going to fully bounce back, unfortunately, because that's how I fell in love with the sport, was watching that light heavyweight division of the past. I mean, we're talking Chuck Liddell, Rampage, Hendo. Like, those guys were fucking monsters. And, of course, John Jones.
I can name you a lot of guys in their prime. So we go from John Jones, we go to Lyoto Machida. We can go to after Lyoto Machida, you got Shogun. Then you got Rashad Evans when he was young. Then you had Ryan Bader when he was young and he was on his run. There's a lot of guys competed in the light heavyweight division. You had the one who set it off, just Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. I mean, you had, dude, when I tell you this division used to be the hardest division to get through. From 1 to 10.
It was.
Like, we're not talking 1 to 5. We're talking 1 to 10. To even beat a top 10 fighter in the light heavyweight division, you had to be a monster.
And what's crazy is John Jones beat them all. John Jones.
Don't let me leave out Gustafsson. When he fought Jones, well, I'll tell you what, that was. And even when he fought DC, he did well against DC. DC just edged him out. I mean, it is what it is. Just like John. Well, I don't believe John Jones completely, in my judging, edged him out. But again, what I've learned about title fights, watching boxing and watching MMA, is in order to beat the champion by decision, bro, you got to beat him almost 4-1, in my opinion. Like, you have to dominate them in order to get those, because they're just going to get the benefit of the doubt. So therefore, it is what it is. But that division's going down. Like, the athleticism is going down.
Quick. Speaking of John Jones, we are moving on. We're not going to talk about John Jones. but it kind of has a like third degree of separation. Let's talk about Henry Cejudo's return. Um, Henry Cejudo is currently working out with John Jones. That's why I don't know if you knew that, Dustin, but he is currently working out with John Jones and the new team. Uh, that's not why we're talking about Henry Cejudo, though. We're talking about Henry Cejudo because every month it seems like we get closer and closer and closer to him coming back. Um, I, for one, want to see it. I know he's the king of cringe. I know he is a fucking weirdo. He is a persona that is super annoying because when he was coming up, he was just a super down to earth guy that just beat the fuck out of people. But I think this is great for a lot of divisions because he can fight in 3 different divisions and he is marketable for the smaller guys, which gets me excited. He helps those guys who are in the feather and banta and those divisions. He helps those divisions because he's marketable. He called out. Well, he didn't even call out Volkanovski. Ali, I can never say his name. The famous manager to the stars, Khabib's manager, and all he's a douchebag. But anyway, he came on record several times saying that he could see Cejudo coming back within the year to fight Volkanovski. Really because the stage is playing out perfectly for them to fight because Holloway isn't sure if he wants to go through another bullshit fight with Volkanovski. I think that's the fight to make. However, I am all in for a Cejudo Volkanovski fight. I am all in for Cejudo versus anyone right now just because the guy, like him or hate him, he makes you watch. What do you think, Dustin? How do you feel about Cejudo? Do you think he's actually going to come back? Do you think this is all talk? Or do you think... go ahead.
I always thought he was going to come back. I never thought his retirement was real. I thought his retirement was to build hype and to sell pay-per-views. But again, here's the problem with that. With my problem with it is that he retired early. He didn't clear out the division. He didn't fight everybody. Now, did he take out Dillashaw? Absolutely. But there's many more waiting. There's many more waiting to fight. And the 125
Demetrius
whooped his ass, and then Henry Cejudo finally edged him out. I mean, let's be real. Demetrius fucked him up.
He beat him.
And then he got him in the second fight. And even Demetrius said it. He was like, good fight. But it's not like he destroyed him. So therefore, it was a good fight. Henry Cejudo is a great fighter. I'm never going to take that away. I never doubted his fighting abilities. What I hate was his personality switch. I do not like that shit. If you're a shit talker, be it. Don't start talking shit when you win. That to me, that's stupid. And I've seen him lecture Joseph Benavidez over being a dick. And I'm like, bro, you became Joseph Benavidez times 5. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, in my opinion? So therefore, I'm cool with the cringiness. I'm cool with it. Conor McGregor was cringy as fuck, even when he was on his run. But guess what? He was bouncing heads, and he never changed. He always talked shit. So therefore, that's fine with me. If he always did it, I'll leave him alone. But the fact of the matter is, he did get beat by Joseph Benavidez, by the way. If everybody doesn't know. Joseph Benavidez got old, and he got a little bit wore out. And, I mean, eventually, Henry Cejudo was going to get him because he's young. And he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's crazy talented. I think he has a pretty good, as much as I don't like him, not personally, I've never met the guy. I can't say that. But I don't like his shit talking sometimes. It's stupid. But I actually believe that he has a pretty good chance against Volk. Like, I think he has utmost of a chance. He can wrestle better. He's definitely a better wrestler. I'll tell you that right now. Definitely better. When it comes to the striking, I think Volk would give him problems, but I don't think Volk can finish him. The last person I saw finish Cejudo like that was Mighty Mouse, and Mighty Mouse hit him with a perfect shot, like perfect shot. So therefore, I don't think Volk can finish, and I also don't think Volk might not be able to hang around for 5 rounds because Cejudo's going to grind him. So therefore, honestly, it's fucked up for me to say, and I wish I didn't have to say it. But I think Henry Cejudo has a really good shot to being the first UFC fighter to winning 3 belts in 3 different divisions.
Triple C, baby! I think he should do it, man.
Triple C. If he comes,
he should do it. I mean, he should do it. I honestly, I agree with you 100%.
But only
breaking down the fight, if you break down the Volkanovski, right. If you break down that fight, that matchup, Alexander Volkanovski, you break it down to Volkanovski versus Cejudo. Cejudo is not much smaller than him. He is still smaller than him, but not by much. And the guy, he is Volkanovski, but better. He's better at everything Volkanovski does. He's a better wrestler. He's a better striker. He's got power. Volk doesn't really have power. Cejudo does. And I just want to expand this for a little bit because let's just say he comes in and he beats Volkanovski by the end of this year. The end of 2022. I don't think he wants anything to do with Piotr Jan. I think he's just out. I don't think he would fight a Banta. But let's just say he drops down the flyweight.
I think that's why he doesn't want to. I think that's why he's coming up there.
What was that?
I think that's why he's aiming at 145 because he does not want to fight Jan, bro. I don't. Think
he doesn't
to do with Jan.
He'll fight Sterling all day, all day, every day, because he would destroy Algio. But I think if we look at this, I think he could beat Volkanovski, then go down the flyweight and beat Brandon Murano, Davison Figueiredo. Listen.
I'm gonna tell you right now, he beats the shit out of 125. He would clear out 125. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. I just want to go through Cejudo's list because I know you respect his skill, but I just want to remind people of who this fucking man is and what he did on his rise. He went from the UFC, from his UFC debut, he went 4-0. Fought Demetrius Johnson, who's pound for pound one of the greatest fighters of all time. Period. He just is pound for pound one of the greatest fighters of all time. I don't care what anyone says. Yep. The guy's a fucking beast. And he he fought Mighty Mouse too early. It was way too early in his career to fight somebody like that. And he lost. He got his ass kicked. Then he fights Benavidez and loses. So he's coming off of 2 losses. Then he goes up against Wilson Reyes, beats him, beats Sergio Pettis, beats Demetrius Johnson again in the rematch, destroys TJ Dillashaw, destroys Marlon Moraes, and then destroys Dominic Cruz. Henry Cejudo is a fucking animal in the octagon. He is well-rounded, and he has the power to step up 3 weight classes. That is absolutely insane. I hope he comes back. I hope this is real. I think he does, and I think because I don't think Holloway's going to sign paperwork. I really don't. Unfortunately, it's the fight to make, and I want to see it. Everybody wants to see it. I think Holloway's had enough with this bullshit. He knows he won the last fight. He doesn't want to have to deal with fighting this guy again. And I think he doesn't sign the paperwork, and I think we could see Cejudo jump in and say, fine, I'll fucking fight him. Who gives a shit? That would really excite me. I hope it excites you, Dustin. Like I said, love him or hate him, you can watch Cejudo.
like I said, I don't have a problem with his fighting ability. I think Cejudo's a monster. I think he's a beast. Actually, his most impressive win to me was TJ. When he beat TJ like
Fuck yeah,
that,
it was.
because TJ, I'm gonna tell you, I got news for everybody. As much as you hate him for the doping shit, I don't like it either. I hated that shit. I couldn't stand it. He didn't dope his last fight, and he literally didn't fight for 2 years and took on one of the
He
youngest
lost the
stars.
fight, Dustin. Dustin, he lost the fight. He fucking lost the fight. He's still on a medical suspension. He lost the fucking fight. Fuck TJ Dillashaw. Fuck TJ. Fuck TJ Dillashaw. Fuck everything about him. Corey Sandhagen whooped his ass and got gifted a W by horrible judges. He won maybe a round, and got a bullshit. I've watched it 100 times. He got a bullshit split decision. Fuck I'm so angry right now. It's just fuck TJ. No, he didn't. He didn't whoop him. It was a split decision. He got lucky. TJ got lucky. He got fucking lucky.
I didn't say he whooped him. I said he came off a 2-year layoff.
Oh, you're grinding my gears. Look, I'm taking my hat off. I'm getting frustrated, Dustin. Fuck TJ Dillashaw. But I would actually agree with you. That is Cejudo's biggest victory, even though Sandhagen also beat TJ. And we're going to end it at that because we got to move on. We have fucking more shit to talk about tonight, and we have a dope-ass card to talk about. All right, we're going to move on to this little headline this morning. Kevin Holland is moving down to welterweight. He already has a call-out. He's calling out Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, who is ranked 15th, I believe, right now in the welterweight division. Listen, I like this move for him. I think he should be a welterweight. I think that's his more natural way for him. That being said, I don't think it matters because we saw that he didn't learn how to wrestle like he promised that he would. I'm disappointed in him. I'm disappointed in DC, to be honest with you, because he went to DC to learn and didn't learn shit. Now, that can't be entirely on DC because a teacher's only as good as a student. I firmly believe that. But, yeah, DC did not learn. I mean, Kevin Holland appears to not have really learned that much wrestling. I hope he's still working on it. I think the move to welterweight is where he can be the most entertaining. I think he is going to be a guy that sticks around in the UFC and gets big payouts because he is a very entertaining fighter. But Dana's going to put him up against strikers. I think his call out is even good. I think Daniel Rodriguez is a good call out. Fight the 15th ranked fighter when he moves down to welterweight. I like it. I think he loses that fight, but I like the move for him. What do you think?
Of course he'd call out Daniel Rodriguez. He wants a striking match. I mean, of course, that's easy money. First of all, he's not. I don't think his weight was the problem at 185. I don't think that was
not.
I don't think he wasn't big enough. I don't think he wasn't strong enough. I think that he doesn't have a dedication to learning another discipline, that if you don't learn, you're not Israel Adesanya. And even Israel Adesanya got his shit. He bit the bullet because he didn't know how to really wrestle, man. Even Izzy bit the bullet when it came to ground fighting. And he's going to keep biting the bullet. Let's just say that he makes it through the top 15. 170 is the most famous division for wrestlers. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's the most famous division. That division loves to grapple. GSP even loved to grapple, and he was the most dominant guy, and he could strike too, but he also loved to take down. And that's one of the best guys ever. Usman is a national champion in wrestling in NCAA. So what we need to understand is he's getting nowhere at 170. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't think he gets any. If he fights Colby Covington, bruh, Colby is going to give him the worst night of his life. I'm gonna say that right now. The worst night of his life. If he gets to the top echelon and tries to fight someone like Colby, come on, man, he's gonna get battered. Colby is going to make him so frustrated it's not even going to be funny. And Colby can punch. Kamaru Usman can punch. Everybody in 170 can also punch. These guys are strong. I don't get the move. First of all, he's not going to get attraction with his mouth. The only people I know who get beat up in fights and lose fights all the time and be popular is Nate Diaz. That's about it.
Wait, before I'm going to interrupt you, the only reason Nate Diaz can do that is because he when he was in his prime, he could back it the fuck up. It was elite at everything. Kevin Holland, you are not elite at wrestling. You're not elite at ground defense. You're not elite in takedown defense. You suck. You're subpar at it. That's just the truth. And you're right. The welterweight division, I never really even thought about it that way. The welterweight division is, though the weight class might make more sense for him because he's a thin guy. He's really, really thin. But the welterweight division, like you said, is full of wrestlers. I mean, could you imagine him versus Kazmat? Kazmat would fucking...
Oh, Jesus.
He would throw him across the fucking octagon, man. That would be insane. But you brought up Colby Covington, and let's kick it freestyle for a second before we get into our last headline. Colby Covington made some comments, and I got to thinking on this. This is just me. I'm speculating. This is just speculation and something I think would be fun. What if Colby Covington stepped down in weight to lightweight?
No. He'd still lose to Charles Oliveira. He would lose Oliveira.
I think it would be fucking entertaining as hell. I think he could do it. I think he actually gets fucking. I think he's light. He's light for the welterweight division. He just is. Yes. He's a small guy for the welterweight division. I think he might.
Colby is not going to win a belt at 155. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, but he's not going to win a belt at welterweight. Did you hear the rumors and the pretty strongly and almost confirmed rumors of what he told Kamaru at the end of that fight while he was hugging him? It's all love, man. Pretty much saying you won. Like, you definitely won this fight. It's all love. Don't listen to my bullshit. It's all love. And he knows he probably doesn't have a real shot at beating Kamaru Usman. And he can beat Gilbert Burns. He can beat Leon Edwards. I would like to see him fight Leon, to be honest with you. I think that's a really entertaining fight and terrible matchup for Colby. But he could beat...
Not even Usman. Usman doesn't want to give him a shot. It's for a good reason. I almost don't.
He's a long kickboxer, dude. He's a long kickboxer.
Not only that,
that's why.
Not only that, he's good on the ground. I mean, he's not a slouch. Like, you get there.
No, he's not.
He's
just
but my
boring
thing with Colby
outside.
If Colby goes down to lightweight, I think first of all, he would be a champion at 170 if it wasn't for Usman. Now, he would have won that belt if it wasn't for Usman. Usman was his nail in his side. There's nothing he could do about it. But
Usman's not going anywhere.
Usman probably has 2 to 3 years probably in his reign left. Like, I'd give him that. So Colby, I think would move down to 155. I think he could beat everybody. Actually, him versus Makhachev would be fucking interesting. Give him Israel Makhachev. That would be a fucking great one. I think that'd be a show. That would be
Yeah, that's
great.
what I'm saying. I don't think he wins a championship in that division, but I think it's a hell of a lot more entertaining in that division. I think he can beat a lot. He can beat a lot of those guys in that division. Justin Gaethje versus Colby Covington? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm picking Colby every single fucking time. Even Dustin versus Colby. Like Dustin, Colby probably beats Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier might knock him out. I think Dustin Poirier might.
He might. I just thought it was interesting. It was something I was thinking about the other day. It sounds like there was the reason I thought about it was because there was an article that I was reading where he kind of hinted at maybe moving down and then immediately backed off of it, saying, I'm going to go fuck Usman. Usman fake news. I'm going to go fuck him up. Which is funny because it's been confirmed that that's all bullshit. We know that it's all bullshit now. You respect him as a fighter. Stop being full of shit. Anyway, we're going to get to our last headline. I'm going to let you talk about this first because I have a lot of thoughts. So Kevin Lee was released the other day from the UFC roster with good reason. He's suspended because of drug use. He tested positive for amphetamines, says it's Adderall. But Dustin, I'll let you talk about this first. Basically, but let me give you everybody the story real quick. Kevin Lee got released. He didn't find out from a phone call. He found out from an email. He's pissed about it. Dustin, go.
I mean, as a man, I can see why he's pissed off that he got released. I mean, I get that. First of all, I'm not surprised the UFC did this. He's not even worth the trouble. Because he's just not. I've seen a lot of good fighters get popped with shit. He's not worth the trouble. I don't think he's going to be successful in either division he competes in. And that's been proven, in my opinion. He's got some decent wins, but listen, you got to be one or two things in the world. I don't think it's just about fighting. You got to have one problem. You can't have both. It's either you're a great performer and you're an asshole, and people don't like to deal with you, or you're entertaining like Nate Diaz, but you lose a lot. Nate Diaz, I mean, come on, dude. Kevin Lee is neither. He's not even entertaining. He's kind of annoying to watch. And then he's not even winning fights. You have to pick a struggle in life. You can't be both. You can't be a shit performer and you can't have a shitty attitude. You can't have both. You got to have one or the other. Pick it. Pick one or the other. Because if you got both, that's going to be a problem. Kevin Lee, I never liked Kevin Lee. So I'm going to put that out there. Not surprised that he's out of the UFC. Matter of fact, I hope he goes to another major organization and gets beat up because it's probably going to happen. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't like Kevin Lee. Honestly, I don't have a problem with them releasing him. I thought it was a good idea. Good shit, UFC.
All right, my turn. And I'm just going to go ahead. We got a segment alert. This is my rant of the week. Kevin Lee, you can go fuck yourself. Quite honestly, Kevin Lee, you can go fuck yourself. You're not worth a UFC's time. You were a young phenom. You were so good when you were young. Oh my God. One of the best wrestlers I've seen. And one of the guys you could take a fucking punch. That fucking head kick you took from Edson Barboza and then recovered from and won the fight by a doctor stoppage. That was insane. You don't see what he did against Edson. That doesn't happen against Edson Barboza. He lands a clean head kick. He knocks you the fuck out. That's who Edson Barboza is. And Kevin Lee took it on the chin and then won. He beat the shit out of him after going crazy-legged. Kevin Lee, you are a phenom. Then it got to your head, and your head was bigger than the entire world. You were the greatest fighter that's just been wronged over and over again. If you lost the fight, oh, the ref didn't treat me fairly. He was hitting me in the nuts. He hit me. He poked my eye a lot. I had a staph infection. Kevin Lee, you can't have an excuse for every loss other than that you started believing your own hype, you started liking your own smell, you started fucking whiffing your own shit and going, that smells good. You're not that good, dude. You're just not that good. And then you tested positive for amphetamines, and you basically came out and weren't apologetic at all. You said I take Adderall and I'm not prescribed to it, but I take it. Like, you just admitted that you did it.
Adderall controlled substance.
Right, dude, it's an amphetamine. It's a fucking amphetamine. It's a grade 1 narcotic, you fucking asshole. You coming out saying that the UFC owes you a phone call. Dana White owes you a phone call. Dana White doesn't owe you shit. He gave you chance after chance after chance after chance because of your raw talent when you were young. You were about to be the next greatest thing in the world. You were the next guy up. You beat so many guys. You lost to Tony Ferguson, then destroyed Edson Barbosa, and then sucked. There's no way to put it. He was bad. He wasn't just like, all right, he looked good here, he looks good there, even though he lost. He was bad. He looked bad in all those fights. Alo Quinta, another wrestler beat you at your own fucking game. And then RDA beats you. You win against Gregor Gillespie. No one fucking cares. Duke Bronx absolutely destroys you. Daniel Rodriguez comes in and beats you. Like, I like D-Rod. I like him. He's a good fighter, but that's a guy you should beat. I picked you in that fight. That's a guy you should beat, Kevin Lee. And you fucking looked awful. You didn't look good. You don't deserve to be in the UFC. And honestly, Dustin, to your point, I think he goes to another promotion and he gets his fucking ass whooped because he believes he should win every fight. So there's a fighter's mentality, right? Dustin, you know all about this. That this is what a lot of people who watch fights casually don't understand. There's a fighter's mentality. A lot of fighters like to think they're down in the card to help make them push themselves harder. There's a fighter's mentality that I got to do whatever I got to do to win. The guys who do what Kevin Lee does get their ass kicked because they think they're walking in thinking they're going to win, that the fight's already done and I'm going to win because I'm Kevin Lee. A fighter's mentality is I got to go out and fight and respect my opponent. Look at Colby Covington admitting that he respects Kamaru Usman. Look at Usman before the fight, admitting that he respects and thinks Colby Covington's a fucking phenomenal fighter. That makes you train harder. It makes you want to be there more, and it makes you want to prove it to everybody. For the fight mentality is different than any other sport in the world. Kevin Lee has a great mentality for the NFL, for basketball. If those were his sports, it would be great. But for the fight game, it's awful. And because of that, it doesn't fucking matter how skilled you are, Kevin Lee. You're going to suck and you're going to get your fucking ass whooped. It doesn't matter. You could go to whatever's below PFL. I forget what. I can't even think of something right now. You're going to go down there and some fucking nobody's going to name Reese. Fucking Reese is going to beat the shit out of you somewhere. Like, it's just insane. It's dumb. Kevin Lee, I get it as a man. I do, like you said, as a man, give me a phone call, let me know. But the UFC doesn't owe him shit. They gave him chance after chance after chance. Fuck. He fought Gregor Gillespie and they gave him Stu Bronx, the hottest name in all of UFC at the time. Like, they tried, dude, and you failed. You fucking failed. Whew. Okay.
Just to add on to this, just to add about respecting your opponents, you know the first person I think of when I actually think about that? It's actually Khabib. I heard him talk about the top 5 of the lightweight division. And he was like, dude, I trained nonstop. He's like, I took no breaks. He's like, you know why? He was like, because every guy I was gonna go up against was a fucking lion. And he was like, if I took a day off, if I stopped training, and if I thought I was the shit, he was like, Justin Gaethje and all them would have came in and whooped my ass. And he said it. He was like, bro, if I stopped training, and if I thought I was this great, and I thought these guys were just nothing, he was like, I would have got beat to shit. And he was like, these guys are lions. They're tough. And he was like, they're nothing to play with. And he was like, and I knew that. I knew that. And I had to train my ass off to fight them. Because I knew if I came up, if I started undercutting training, if I thought I was the shit, I was going to get beat. And I respect Khabib for saying that. That is very hard to say sometimes, especially when you're at his position. But Khabib even said it. He was like, dude, if I slack off, these guys are going to beat my ass. And he was like,
Well, yeah, then look how he trained. Look how he trained for Conor. I mean, the guy would never left the gym. He's fucking swimming in freezing waters upstream. And there's another perfect name. That's the perfect example of both fight mentalities. Young Conor had the mentality. Guy never left the gym. He was always out trying to prove that he was the best fighter in the world. New Conor, rich Conor, doesn't have the mentality anymore. He just doesn't have it. He's worth over $500 million. He doesn't have the mentality anymore. That mentality gets you beat. Conor is still one of the most talented fighters in the world. But if you don't have the mentality, you're not going to win fights. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who it's against. You're just not going to win. And Kevin Lee, you lost it before you even proved yourself.
Another thing about fighter mentality is a lot of people didn't understand, like, there's a lot of guys who could probably grapple like a Sambo champion. There's probably Sambo champions right now that are highly talented. They're very, very good. And there's probably guys who have the physical attributes, the combinations, the ability, the cardio to be great. The difference between being good and great is literally fucking just a sliver. Just a sliver. That's it. All it takes is a mentality. That's it. If you believe it, you have a 50% more chance of doing it. Literally, that's all it takes is just a mentality. A lot of guys are talented. A lot of guys are fast. A lot of guys are powerful. A lot of guys are good grapplers. A lot of guys can strike. Dude, it's just certain people have certain mentalities, and that's what it is. And Kevin Lee and people like that, they think they're the shit, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with thinking that you're the shit. The problem is when you think that you're so good that no one's gonna whoop your ass. that's the real
right.
problem.
And that's exactly what Kevin Lee thought.
In a fight, you're highly mistaken because all it takes is one mistake. It's not like in another sport where the quarterback can throw an interception. The best player on the basketball team can miss a three. If you miss one time and he connects one good time, you just lost. One mistake. One. It doesn't take a bunch of them. That's all it takes. You do not fight the hands when he's on your back. You do not keep guard. You do not let him posture up. It takes one slip up for you to get your shit rocked. That's it. Just one.
It does.
And it might even be accidental. So that's what people need to realize. And Kevin Lee, if you think like Kevin Lee, dude, in the UFC, in the top level of fighting, boxing, MMA, I don't give a fuck. Kickboxing, Sambo, Jiu-Jitsu, doesn't matter. If you think like that, you're gonna get beat. That's what it is. If you can get beat, you're gonna get beat. I promise. It's a bad mentality.
All right, we got to move on because, like I've been saying, we have a fucking dope fight card. We're probably going to go over an hour. This show, guys. There are lots of key fun headlines to talk about. So please stick with us because this card is fucking awesome. I'm so excited for it. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got Alex Murano versus Mickey Gall. I think I have a shocking pick in this, so I'm going to let you pick first. Mickey Gall's coming off of was one of those guys who's kind of a lot like Kevin Lee, except younger, was picked to be the next guy up. And we're seeing otherwise. So, but Dustin, go ahead. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Who do you got?
You know, my funnest memory of Gall was when he got fed CM Punk. That's when I remember. Gall's a talented kid. He's only got 10 fights, so I mean he's got plenty of time. But in the 170 division, I don't know how much time you got because there's a lot of killers in there. So you better get on it, dude. But Mickey, I want to pick Mickey because I just want him to win. And I really want him to do this. It's so iffy because I don't know what he's going to do in there. I have no clue. I know he's a very good grappler. I hope he sticks to that. I mean, we'll see, dude. We'll see. He's early in his career. I hope he develops. I hope he gets better. But Mickey Gall has the potential. I'm gonna pick him in this fight. I don't think he's gonna lose, but still a chance.
He has to show me that he can do more. Mickey Gall, I know you can wrestle. I know you're a legit wrestler and a legit submission artist. I know that. I know it. I've seen it. I've seen you wrestle. You're fucking really good at it. But you can't stand. You can't stand. You can't stand up. You've been beaten and beaten and beaten. I mean, he's coming off of Dustin Poirier, and then he lost to Dustin, which he should have. George Roop, Rana, you're losing the guys you should beat, man. You're 29 years old. They're all guys you should beat, and you're losing to them. And against Ronnie Ya, you got choked out. Like, even what you're best at, you lost. I'm picking Alex Murano. I think we were fed bullshit. I think we were fed lies about him from Dana. I think he was a marketable young man who had all the potential in the world, but he's just not as talented as Dana thought he was. And I think Alex Murano, who's coming off of 2 victories, which are not Donald Cerrone, I know is old when he beat him. I get it. Morono's not that young either. But he beat David Zawada, which is no joke. David Zawada is good. He is a good fighter. He's not elite, but he's a good fighter. And Alex Murano proved me wrong in that fight, as I did not pick him. I think he's going to beat Mickey Gall. I think he's going to beat him easily. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round, to be honest with you.
Sad I didn't talk about Murano more. Murano is a very good fucking fighter. Very good. I probably should.
As he is, and he has some crazy. He's beaten Max Griffin. He's beaten Donald Cerrone, like I said. He's beaten Kenan Song. He has some good victories in his. He's never really been able to get it going in the UFC. I think he wins this fight. I think he wins it easily. I think he's 31 years old. He's not young. He's got a lot of fights under his belt. He's 31 years old, and he's fought almost 30 times, if not 30 times. The guy's an absolute monster. I think this is just another guy on his path. I don't think Morono's about to go win a championship anytime soon. But I think he's going to beat Mickey Gall. I think Mickey Gall, we got fed. I think he was a little bit overvalued coming into the UFC.
A lot of guys are, though. So let's be fair. A lot of guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are.
Yeah, it's not his fault. It's not his fault Dana propped him up to be the next guy. All right, we're moving on. Because we have the next fight in this is, I am excited about this, Brandon Allen versus Chris Curtis. Not a lot of people know who Chris Curtis is. It might be a name you might not recognize, even Dustin. He's coming off of his UFC debut, where he You probably remember this or have seen the highlight. He hit Phil Hawes with a counter left that, that came out of fucking nowhere.
Actually, crazy. It's crazy. I watched that fucking fight, and I'm actually thinking about it now. I know exactly who that dude is. And honestly, I'm impressed. He's actually, it's really fucked up. Is he's a late bloomer, which is really fucked up. I think he's got a lot of fights under his belt, and he's just not. I did not expect to Philip Hawes. I did not. When I saw that shit, I was like, Philip, no. Like, Philip's one of my guys. When I saw him do that, I was like, no. I promise. I was screaming no. I was like, no, Philip. I was like, oh, shit.
Dustin. Christopher Curtis, the action man, has fought 30. Let's do this. Hold on. I just say he's fought 35 times. He's 34 years old, and he comes in and beats Phil Hawes, who's like, this is a prop fight for Phil Hawes. It's supposed to be a guy that gets him to the next guy who gets him to contention. Like that's what this fight was supposed to be. We all had Phil Hawes winning this fight. Everyone and their grandmother had Phil Hawes winning this fight, and he got hit with a counter left that was just like, oh my god. But that being said, he is fighting a very young, a very motivated, a very talented Brandon Allen. I know he lost to Sean Strickland. I know that. And I know he hasn't really beaten anybody since then.
First of all, Sean Strickland's a beast. I'm going to tell everybody.
He is. Sean Strickland's a monster. But I also want to mention that, yes, he lost to Sean Strickland, but he beat Kyle Daukaus. He beat Tom Breeze. He beat Kevin Holland. Like, Brandon Allen is good. He is 25 years old. He's a good wrestler. He's a good striker. He's not a great striker. He's a way better wrestler than striker, but he can strike. I love Chris Curtis. I love a guy that gets a crazy knockout out of left field. I'm picking Brandon Allen. I think Brandon Allen wins this fight. I don't know how, but I think it doesn't go past the second round.
I'm going with my man Chris Curtis. I'm going to tell you why. Because he's one of those fighters that I don't understand why it took so long for him to get here. Because he has gone on fight. I've looked at his record. I've studied him a little bit. He's gone on win streaks that were very, very good. Why he never got a shot, I'm not sure. Why he never got at least a sliver of an early prelim, or at least like a couple fight contract, or 10 to show, 10 to win. I don't know. But he broke in now, and he knocked out Philip Hawes. I'm going to tell you, Philip Hawes is fucking dangerous. And if anybody doesn't know who Philip Hawes is, that dude is dangerous. Like, I'm talking
Just go look at his neck.
He's dangerous. That dude will flatten you the fuck out. And he literally was taking his shots. He was taking them. And then he counter left and knocked him the fuck out. I'm telling you, that is not a boy to play with. I'm going with my dude, Chris. I'm rooting for him because I want him to do good. I want him to finish out his career. I'm rooting for him, dude. I gotta pick him. I gotta give him a confidence.
I love Brandon Allen. I do. I'm a huge Brandon Allen fan. I'm a huge believer in Brandon Allen. He's just 25 years old. He's not even close to his fight prime yet, and he has key victories already. Guys like that are the guys to look out for. But I gotta say, I am actually rooting for Chris Curtis too. I'm picking Brandon Allen, but I am rooting for Chris Curtis. There's nothing like a guy coming in the UFC when he's 35 years old and going on a run. I mean, it's just fucking awesome. It's just like, Dana, what took so long? This guy has gone on in 35 fights, Dustin. He's gone on 2 6-fight win streaks. 2.
How did he not get signed? How did he not?
I don't know. I don't know. All right. So this is going to be definitely one of the most fun fights to watch. We're both excited. We're both rooting for Chris. I'm picking Brandon Allen. Dustin sounds like he's picking with his heart a little bit, so we'll give it to him. I appreciate it and respect it. We're moving on, though. Next fight we got. This is the one fight that I don't like. And I'm going to guess you don't like it either. Leandro Santos versus Clay Guido. And when I see this, I think my very first thought, Dustin, is why is Clay Guida still in the UFC? Why does Dana keep booking him fights? I mean, the Mark Madsen fight, I get it was a split decision, and he beat Michael Johnson before that. But he got destroyed by Bobby Green, an old Jim Miller. Like, I don't need to see Clay Guida and Leandro Santos, who's 41 years old. Like, I don't need to see these guys fight. Don't care about these guys. I don't know. That's all I got to say. I don't care about this fight. I'm not picking somebody because I don't care. What about you, Dustin?
Dana White's killing me. He's absolutely killing me because I've seen him made guys like Chuck Liddell retire. I mean, I've seen him tell Chuck Liddell that, dude, you're old and I'm tired of seeing you get beat up. I'm sick of seeing you get beat up because you used to be great. Now, if you're an old-time fan, you definitely know who Clay Guida is. In the lightweight division back in the day, he was a fucking weirdo. Like, I mean, he was a weirdo. That dude was a dirt old man. And with his, I'm going to tell you right now, in MMA, you should not have 50 fights. It shouldn't fucking happen. Not in MMA. Not in MMA. You should not go that far. You're almost risking your life, in my opinion. There's more knockouts. There's more danger. These guys are way younger. This is a young man sport. I'm sorry to break it to people. It's just a young man sport. You're not going to go up in here and bully these 20-year-olds. They've been fighting since they were 7. It's not going to happen. They're in their prime. Even if he fights trash cans, dude, you're just, goddamn, retire Clay Guida. Like, you could go and, like, commentate. Like, you could go coach. You could go do something. Why do you still want to get punched in the head? Is there something? I don't know. Someone tell me. I need to know. If I could get him for an interview, I would ask him. I'd be like, bro, at what point? What for? What do you get punched in the face for? It makes no sense. And to me, it just makes no sense why he wants to keep getting beat on. I don't get it. I don't get it. And he's been through wars with guys like Diego Sanchez, a prime Diego Sanchez. Dude, he's been through crazy hard fights. I'm like, dude, you're old. Go coach. Go do something. Stop fighting. I stopped fighting. And Dana, please stop letting him fight. Stop it. Let Bellator or somebody sign him and let them have that on their heart. Fucking stop it. I'm sick of this shit.
It's fucking insane, man. And the other thing about Clay Guida, we all love, us old school fight fans, we all love Clay Guida because he is a fighter's fighter. He won't back down from anyone. If they offered him the top fighter if they offered him John Jones, he'd probably say yes because he's a fucking nut job. But he is the definition of inconsistent. Like, if there was a dictionary, a fighter's dictionary, and an inconsistent fighter, and the picture, there wouldn't even be a definition next to it, Dustin. It would just be Clay Guida's face, and everybody would be like, "Oh, I get what you're saying." This guy has very rarely ever gotten to fight like win streaks together. He's always fighting tough guys. He's fought Chad Mendes, Benson Henderson. Before Benson Henderson went crazy and forgot how to fight. He Gary Maynard, Diego Sanchez. Who else? Who am I missing? Brian Ortega, Dupont. Like, this guy has fought them. He's fought them all, and he's lost to them all.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell all our fans, or whoever the fuck is watching. It doesn't matter. This is how old Clay Guida is. He fought a prime Diego Sanchez. Come on. A prime Diego Sanchez. It's how old he is. Stop fighting. Diego Sanchez doesn't even want to admit that he wants to stop fighting, but that's because Diego Sanchez is a psycho. I don't believe Clay Guida is stupid. Come on, dude. Stop. Please stop. Please stop.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on because that fight sucks. Next fight does not suck though. We got Jimmy Crute versus Jamal Hill. I love Jamal Hill. I love him. He's great. I think he's really good. The Paul Craig fight. Listen, I know he was losing that fight. He was taking strikes from the guard, and he injured his arm. It didn't look good for him, but I am a believer in Jamal Hill. I think he's going to be – I don't know if he's going to go on some crazy win streak here, but I do believe he is legit in the light heavyweight division. I do believe that in that light heavyweight division, he can actually contend because, like we said, it is not that strong right now. Doesn't look like it's going to be strong anytime soon. And he goes against Jimmy Crute, who is no joke. He has gotten some big victories before. And we all know Jimmy Crute because he is a name in MMA. This is not just UFC. He is a name in the MMA world. Everybody knows who Jimmy Crute is. But I think Jamal Hill wins this. I think he wins it. I'm going to say he wins it in a knockout. I think he does. I think Jimmy Crute loses this fight, and Jamal Hill wins in a knockout. What do you think, Dustin?
This is a turning point in Hill's career. Once you lose that goose egg, once you take that first loss, we're going to see. We're going to see because not everybody knows how to lose. I'm going to say that right now. Most guys who are undefeated, sometimes they don't know how to lose, man. So hopefully he responds very well. But I think he can beat Crute. I mean, I think he can. But I'm actually just paying attention to this fight specifically to see a younger guy take his first loss, and let's see how he responds. Because some guys that take their first loss that are undefeated earlier in their career, sometimes it can get ugly. So, we'll see.
Here's the other thing. Jimmy Crute's 25, right? He's a young guy. They're both young guys. Jamal Hill's actually 30. He's just getting going, though.
Both of them are young, but what I'm saying is, like, he has a little potential, in my opinion. But
Crute's got to get this fight to the ground. He's got to get to the ground. He just has to, because I just want to remind people, because I feel like some people have forgotten who Hill is. Jamal Hill is the guy that knocked out Ovin St. Preux by grazing his chin. Like grazing. Not even like he didn't hit him on the button. He didn't hit him clean. He grazed his chin, and he hit so hard he put him out. Not down. Out. Cold. Stiff. That's who Jamal Hill is. Jamal Hill is I'm going to say it, and people are going to be pissed at me because everyone pretty much agrees Jan is the most powerful guy in the division. Jamal Hill has the most powerful hands in the entire division. He does. He just does. I don't care what anyone says. You can't convince me otherwise. When you knock a guy by grazing him in the chin, Dustin, in the chin, not the temple, not under the ear, not the neck, the chin, that tells me something. That tells me you are the personification of power. That is who Jamal Hill is. And if Crute doesn't get this into the ground, he's going to sleep.
When I talk about Hill being young, I wasn't saying that obviously he is younger. But in his fight career, first of all 30-year-olds will hate me when I say this. You're not fucking old. You're not fucking old. 30-year-olds, that's not
I'm
old.
30.
You're not fucking old. Alec is not old. And it's just
I'm not old.
I'm almost 27. I'm still young as fuck. And 3 years from now, I'm still going to be young as fuck. So therefore, what I'm telling people is 30 years old, especially if you've only had nine fights in MMA, you're not old, especially when it comes to mileage. You're not old. You got years and years and years left. I mean, he has a lot of time. I'm waiting to respond. I'm waiting for him to respond to losing the goose egg, because losing that goose egg is no fun. And like I'm not, I've seen a lot of guys fold into that shit. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this fight. I think it's been great. But we got to move on because we're kind of overstaying our welcome here. We're well over an hour, but that's fine. We're at the co-main right now. We got two guys who are 10-1. Two guys who are 10-1. Two of the guys I'm very excited to watch. We got Brad Rydell versus, sorry, my computer's Rafael Fiziev. I said it right, Dustin. I said it right. I said his name right. This is such an exciting fight, and I'll tell you why, Dustin. These are two guys. Fiziev's 28 years old. Brad Rydell is 30. There are two guys entering their prime of fighting. There are two guys who are just on fucking tears. Just tears. Both of them are very well-rounded fighters. Brad Rydell can wrestle. He's got good ground game, but he can also knock you the fuck out. Rafael Fiziev, we've seen such impressive victories. The fight against Bobby Green was just fucking insane. He absolutely destroyed Renato Moicano. The guy has proven me wrong twice now. And that catches my attention because Fiziev is here and he's here to stay, and he is a fucking monster. I'm going to let you talk about this because I don't know who to pick, and hopefully I have a decision by the time you're done. So go ahead. I'll let you work it out, and maybe I'll agree with you, maybe I won't.
You see, I'm a weird MMA fan, and I like to pay attention to where guys train. It's a really weird thing. Not a lot of people like to pay attention to it, but I do. This is City Kickboxing versus Sanford, which is two of the most famous gyms right now in MMA. And Riddell is looking to be catapulted, put it that way. City Kickboxing, I know it says City Kickboxing, but it is an MMA gym that has Hooker in it, that has a lot of good fighters in it. So therefore, obviously, Israel Adesanya. They're two very good gyms. Sanford has Kamaru Usman. I mean, we're talking. We have two gyms here that are deep with talent. I think Riddell. I actually have more confidence in Riddell in this fight for some reason. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know how to break it down too well because I mean he's still. Again, these guys are still young. They don't have a bunch of tape on them. So therefore, we'll see. I know one was finishing every fight until they got to the UFC, and he's been getting decisions ever since. So, again, the UFC is proving tough. So we'll see, but honestly, I'm going to take Riddell here. I'm going to take Riddell in this fight.
I'm going to disagree. I am. I think Riddell has him on power. I think that's it. I think he's got him on power. I don't think he has him on technique and striking, but he definitely has him on power. That is for sure. Fiziev, what people don't know a lot about him, I know I just said Rydell can actually do a little bit of work on the ground, but I forgot that Fiziev actually has a little bit of a wrestling background. The guy can wrestle. He's known as a kickboxer because that's what made him. But he can wrestle and he can go to the ground and he can he can submit you. If this fight goes to the ground, Riddell doesn't stand a chance. I don't think it will. I think we're going to see two guys throw. I think we're seeing that. This is one of those matchups that I love, Dustin, because listen, I'm changing my mind as I talk more about it. But This is one of those fights, one of those rare fights where you get two guys who have something to prove going up against each other, and whoever wins gets catapulted into contention. Um, this fight has so much on the line for these two guys. It really does. Now that being said, if Rydell loses, not that it's not that big. Whoever loses is gonna get that another chance to contend again. But whoever wins is almost an instant contender. Um,
It's a catapult.
I'm
fight.
gonna backtrack.
That's
I'm gonna backtrack, man. I'm picking Rydell because I don't think it goes to the ground. I don't think it does. I think both of them are gonna try to prove their kickboxing. The one thing that I will say is Fizzy, if Ken just hold him on the fence. Oh my god, I don't know who to pick, Dustin. That's it. I'm picking Rydell. I'm not changing it. I'm picking Rydell. I might regret it. Don't bet on this fight. I'm warning everybody. I'm doing the opposite of Monique's lock bets. Do not bet on this fight. You will lose money. It's a curse. It's one of those fights that's just cursed that if you bet on it, the other guy's gonna win. So just don't bet on it. Just leave it alone. But this is I'm almost more excited for that fight than the main event. If the main event didn't have one of my favorite fighters of all time, one of everybody's favorite fighters of all time, one of the guys that no one dislikes in the entire UFC, not even Conor McGregor. We're talking about Jose Aldo versus Rob Font. And Dustin, I am so excited to watch. This is going to be a striking chess match. It might be really boring because both of them are going to feint and feint in top of feints and feint in a feint, in a feint, in a feint. It's going to be like just absolutely insane. There's going to be a lot of mind games. The guy with the higher IQ in this fight is going to win, the higher striking IQ. I can tell you right now who I'm picking because I can't not pick with my heart. I'm going with Jose Aldo. I absolutely love and adore Jose Aldo. I want him to go on another run in the worst way. He is on his way. He beat Chito Vera. He destroyed Chito Vera. Before the Sanhagen Jan fight, he put up a great fight against Jan. Sanhagen now has surpassed him as the guy that put up the best fight against Jan. But Jose Aldo looked really good in those first 3 rounds, and then he got hit with some devastating body shots and it just took him out of the fight. But then he beats Chito Vera and he beats Pedro Munez in very, very easy decisions. Rob Font himself has beat Cody Garbrandt and Marlon Moraes. Cody Garbrandt, though, I'm going to tell you right now, Dustin, that win is overrated. It doesn't tell me much. Cody Garbrandt is just I loved him a while ago, but now I hate him because he just has no discipline. He doesn't learn from his mistakes, and he keeps making the same damn mistakes over and over again, which he just opens up. When he strikes, he opens up. And Rob Font waited until every time he'd come in and he'd start throwing, Rob Font would just hit him with like 3 strikes and Cody would back off. I'm going Jose Aldo because I think Jose Aldo can do a little bit more in the striking game, whereas Rob Font's more of just a boxer. I think Jose Aldo will bring more of a kickboxing into it. I think he's going to hit him with those devastating leg kicks that we know Jose Aldo for, and it's going to take Rob Font's hands out of the fight, which means an easy path. Not easy, but a path to victory for Jose Aldo in a unanimous decision. Your turn, Dustin.
Rob Font. I'm taking it all day. I think this is a measuring stick fight for Aldo. Aldo's getting old, dude. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't think he makes a run towards the title. I think Fant's probably going to end that. I'm not saying that Jose is not going to fight after this because that'd be wrong. Because I think he's going to fight until he can't. But I see Rob Fant winning this fight. That's just me. And I know Cody. You know what you say about Cody, but Cody definitely has done things in that division. I'm not gonna say Cody is some easy feat. It's definitely a hard guy to put out. I just don't have faith in Jose in this fight. I just don't. I think Rob Fance, he's a tough dude, man. This is gonna be a tough ticket. I agree with you that Jose has put on some really good performances. I agree with that. But I think Fance might be the stop sign. That's just my opinion. He's climbing up. I don't know, man. I don't see how Jose beats him.
And that's why I said I was picking with my heart. Because I do see in my head, I could see at the end of the fight. Listen, this fight's going to decision no matter what. Neither of these guys are going to knock the other one out. I honestly believe that. But Rob Font, I could easily, I can see in my head me getting disappointed because Rob Font pretty easily won with. But I gotta say, man, I believe in Jose Aldo. I believe in him. He beat Pedro Munoz. He beat Chito Vera. Chito Vera is vastly overrated by many people. I know that, but he beat Pedro Munoz, who's really fucking good. Rob Font to me is a guy. I don't want to say this without. I don't know how to say this without getting yelled at. Not by you, maybe by you, but more so other people. I don't give a shit about Rob Font. I don't care about him. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he is anything special. He has some decent victories. Again, he's beaten some greats. It looks like I lost Dustin, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish. Oh no, he's still back there. All right, we lost you for a second, Dustin. But I was just saying that I don't care about Rob Font. I know he's the fourth-ranked fighter in that division, but I don't see Rob Font doing anything in that division. He's not going to beat Sandhagen. He's not going to beat Dillashaw. I don't even know if he beats. He could beat Aljo, who's the champion right now. But he sure as shit has no chance against Jan. Not that Aldo does, but Aldo, at least I got a rooting interest in a UFC legend. Rob Font just doesn't do it for me, man. I just don't. I know he's a good fighter. He is entertaining as hell. He is, because he's a boxer. You're going to see great boxing. I got Aldo. I think Aldo wins this fight. I think he wins it pretty easily. Now that I'm talking about him more, I think he wins it in decision pretty damn easily. Of course, next week I'll be disappointed when he does it. But all right, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost. All right, cool. But guys, we are going on an hour and 20 minutes. I am tired. I'm not eating tonight. So we are going to sign off here. Happy fight week. Again, please follow us at Fights Unwrapped on Twitter and follow Unwrapped Sports Network subscribe to them on YouTube. Hit that little bell so that you get notifications of when something pops up, and follow them on Twitter as well. It's what brings me and Dustin and Monique together every single fucking week. So please give them a follow. Happy fight week. We'll see y'all next week at a normal time. See you guys.